Again, I just want to thank you so much for saying yes to the ministry that you're involved in. And this is the last of our big 3 concepts when it comes to our ministry. We've talked about partner, how we partner with parents and some ways that we can do that, some examples of how you can do that. We've talked about build and how we build relationships with kids and how effective that is and some different techniques for doing that. And now we're going to talk about win. Win a generation, W-I-N. And winning that generation to Christ really only happens when we rightly understand our role. And that's what partner's all about. Rightly understanding our role when it comes to ministry. I think sometimes early on in my ministry, whether that be camp ministry or here at Blessed Hope, I got so worked up that I felt like I had to do the whole discipleship process, that I was the only one responsible for it. And the reality is, when you do that, you put so much pressure on yourself and you put so much pressure on your soul, on your heart, that you're more likely to say no to the ministry. And I know that that's the case for some of you. This is your first time, or maybe this is your 10th year or whatever, and you're starting to think, I'm thinking no, I just don't think I can do it anymore. And the truth is, you don't have to do everything. And when we rightly understand that we are to partner with parents, that we aren't to push that boulder all the way up ourselves, that when we rightly understand that, it makes it less scary. I understand the fear aspect of it, that do I know enough? Can I make a big enough impact? Trust me, when we understand that our role is to partner with parents, we get closer to winning a generation, because the next generation needs adults to say yes to the mission, to say yes to them, and to show them that they give a darn about them. I think that in the past, the church has really made discipleship about a destination and not a direction. See, when we talk about a destination, when you get there, you're good, you're in. And when it came to discipleship models in the past, when it came to discipling kids in the past, it was about memorization, it was about reciting the Apostles' Creed, it was about getting up and being confirmed at the age of 13 or whatever it was, and then being baptized, and then you were in, you had made it. So this idea of winning a generation is setting them up for a direction instead of a destination. We want to keep them moving towards Christ their entire life, rather than getting them to a point and saying, all right, now you can take communion. All right, now you can be baptized. All right, now you can be in adult church. We don't want to get them to a point. We want to keep pushing them in a direction. And that's what it means to win a generation. You're not going to get to see the fruit of all your work. You know, it's going to be a pastor 10 years from now. It's going to be a youth leader, 5-10 years from now. If for those of you in a toddler room, it's going to be a youth pastor 5-10 years from now. It's going to be a youth leader 5-10 years from now. It's going to be a college chaplain, a college roommate. It's going to be somebody else years from now that's going to get to see the fruit of your labor. But the point is, that is what we want. We don't want to get them to a point and say, here's your destination, now you're good, welcome to the faith. We want to get them into a direction, and so that they're constantly producing fruit. And maybe for some of us, that is a huge shift in thinking, that, when we grew up or when you grew up, that it was all about memorization, getting this right, reciting it in front of the congregation, answering the questions correctly, taking First Communion, and then being baptized. And then it was it. There was no further relationship. We understand that partnering with parents, having a relationship, understanding our role, and then building a relationship with these kids is setting them up for a direction, not just a fixed point where they can say, well, I'm a Christian, but I don't actually, I'm not under the authority of God. I'm just I've done the things. I've checked off the checklist. We don't want those type of Christians coming out of our church. We want lifelong followers of Jesus. We want lifelong pursuers of Jesus. And that's what we believe that we get when we partner with parents and we build relationships with kids. We believe that we win a generation towards lifelong pursuit of Christ. So your contribution to the ministry, the children's and youth ministry here at Blessed Hope, is greatly, greatly valued. Because without you, without the entire body of Christ working to build the next generation, the body of Christ, it gets real difficult, and we start to face some harsh realities. So we want to be a church where we build relationships with kids, we partner with parents, and we win a generation to a direction, to a pursuit of Jesus, not to a destination.